Hey guys, Kate here from katemeralt.com, and today I wanted to talk to you about something that has been very relevant in my life recently, and that is what happens to us when fear starts running the show. And what I mean by that is when we start making decisions and thinking and taking actions from a place of fear rather than a place of trust. And this is particularly relevant for me right now because honestly, I've been letting fear run the show a little bit in the past couple of weeks. I've I've had some great opportunities. I am living my life. Things are going great. But there's this underlying current of anxiety, of uncertainty, of not really being sure what's coming next and questioning the faith that I usually have that comes in when that needs to be backed up. The thing about fear is that you can be pretty successful while living in fear. You can do some pretty incredible things. You can travel, you can have great relationships, go on adventures, create some art. You can do a lot of things even when you have this underlying basis of fear. And every once in a while, and sometimes a lot of the while for some of us, fear sort of takes over and prevents us from doing the things that we really want to do. And it can lead us back to old habits. It can bring us into old thought patterns, old actions that maybe no longer serve us very well. And, maybe there are things that we see that ourselves doing and we think like, why am I doing this? Like, why aren't I doing this thing that I actually want to be doing? Or why am I eating that food or not doing that workout or, not seeing the friends that I want to see? Especially if you're like me, if you have a history of anxiety and depression, when fear starts to take over, it can be really easy to isolate and to kind of ignore people reaching out, or better yet, if you're as adept as I've been, you can deflect people and assure them that you're really doing great, even when you're not necessarily. And the thing about that is being aware that it's happening is the first step. A lot of times we're not even aware. I'll find myself sitting on the couch on a Tuesday reading a novel that I've already read 6 times when I had a very clear plan of what I wanted to be doing for the day. And on the one hand, that's great because reading is awesome, but it's also been an escape tool for me for most of my life. I would get lost in other people's stories so I didn't have to deal with the uncomfortableness of my own. And as soon as I become aware of what I'm doing, I have a choice, and so do you. Once we become aware of the patterns and ourselves slipping back into them, we have the choice to say, okay, I see you, I'm going to do it anyway. Or to say, okay, some need that I have isn't being met right now, and I need to understand what that is and see what is the best way that's going to fulfill it, that doesn't put me back into this downward spiral or keep me in a place of fear or stuckness. A couple of things, it's funny because in a past life I would have said I would have just gone to yoga, or I would have made myself a salad or gone outside in the sunshine. And these are all really good things to do, of course. There's nothing wrong with those things. I still do them a lot. It's when I tell myself that that's what I need and I don't do it. Or I do it and then I go right back to what I was doing before. That there's some sort of discrepancy or incongruency there. And living in fear, it's not fun. There's no way to just totally get rid of fear. Like, there's no such thing as being fearless, I don't think. It's always going to show up. I'm not even really quite sure where exactly this video is going to end up, as I can tell because I keep saying and pausing and not being exactly sure what's coming. I just felt really compelled to talk about this and to acknowledge the fact that we all deal with fear every single day, and that sometimes we hide out so we don't have to deal with what we're afraid of. Sometimes we face it head on and, plunge brazenly into the darkness and move through it. And sometimes we're sort of in an in-between spot. I guess I don't necessarily have all of the answers of how not to live in fear, because it's something that I still deal with all the time. What's really important is to know what living in love feels like. And to know what that feels like, you really have to undergo a process of loving yourself, of accepting yourself, of trusting, at least to some degree, that the world's got your back. And knowing that as long as you keep moving forward, you can't really go wrong. The actions we take aren't always perfect. Sometimes we say things, we do things, or we don't say things or don't do things that lead us to a result that we're not really wanting or hoping for. But at least it's a result. My coach says that. She says, get a result, and from there you can adjust your course. So living in fear to me looks like living completely stuck. It's taking no action because you're afraid of any action. And so the question, the challenge, the mission that I'm posing to you today is, what do you need to do to move toward love? Who do you need to be to continue to take action? That's all. Have a really good day.